Good evening. I'll now call the Standing Committee meeting of May 5th, 2025 to order. Today we observe Red Dress Day, the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit people. This day serves as a solemn reminder of the thousands of Indigenous lives lost due to systemic violence and colonial legacies. The origins of Red Dress Day trace back to 2010, when Métis artist Jamie Black initiated the Red Dress Project. This powerful art project featured empty red dresses hung in public spaces, symbolizing the absence of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. The color red was chosen for its spiritual significance. In many Indigenous cultures, red is believed to be the only color spirits can see, serving as a call to the spirits of those loved and lost to return and be remembered. As a board, we recognize that remembrance must be accompanied by action. We reaffirm our commitment to the calls for justice outlined in the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls, and to the principles of anti-oppression, safety, and reconciliation in our schools. Let us honor the memories of those lost by continuing to listen, learn, and lead with purpose. The Durham District School Board acknowledges that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships, both historic and modern, with the territories upon which our school board and schools are located. Today, this area is home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge that the Durham region forms part of the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, the Mississauga peoples, and the treaty territory of the Chippewa of Georgina Island First Nation. It is on these ancestral and treaty lands that we teach, learn, and live. Are there any declarations of interest? Seeing none, there are no declarations of interest at this time. I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda. Trustee Morton, all those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Moving on to recommended actions, I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the Standing Committee minutes of April 7th, 2025. Trustee Cunningham, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Moving on to the information items. First up is the 30 credits my way, and I will turn it over to Superintendent Stephen Nevels.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. Tonight you'll find an update report on page 5 of your package. We've introduced 30 credits my way as a way to support students and families with navigating the high school pathway and programs options with confidence. Through conversations with students and parents, we learned that the communication of program options and the understanding of opportunities available for students differed between schools and between individual students. In response to this, we launched 30 Credits My Way to support all educators, students, and families with their understanding of what could be available. Over the course of last year, we've developed and launched a comprehensive website landing page, posters, and a social media campaign, parent, student, and family placemats, which are located in your appendices this evening, as well as the course selection document that you should have received as well. We've also created postcards and business cards for community engagement events with a QR code that takes students and families directly to the 30 Credits My Way website. To date, the website has received over 10,000 visits as more students and families navigate their way to the information provided there. This report is shared for your information, as we know that the 30 Credits My Way becomes an embedded practice across the system. It will help both students and families understand more about the many options that are available for pathway planning.
Thank you. Any questions from trustees? Trustee Cunningham?
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I know there is an information night, but is this something that high schools go over with kids, maybe on grade 9 day or something like that? Are they brought in to the conversation at some point?
Definitely. So the evening events we have are for students and parents for planning kind of for the next year. So it would have been our grade 8 parents and students this year planning into grade 9. And then we also hosted a night this year for grade 9 parents and students planning into grade 10. Every school guidance department also has posters and the booklets that also go out to all of our grade 8 students with that QR code. And we're really hoping that the presence of that QR code front and center will take even more students and families to that website.
Thank you. Trustee Miller?
Thank you, Chair. I had the opportunity to see this presentation in the last SEAC meeting. I just didn't get the opportunity to ask. One of my questions was regarding the online courses needed for graduation and the option of having either or. Could I have a little bit more clarification on that?
So the ministry has implemented a requirement for students to have 2 e-learning courses as part of their 30 credits required for graduation. There is also an option for students and families to opt out of that, depending on their own preference. So a student may take one and opt out of the second, or opt out of both. We find that the majority of our students do end up taking both of the e-learning credits that are required. Some take even more than 2 in terms of their graduation. A lot of our students also use their summer opportunity to partake of our e-learning options also.
Student Trustee Hoare.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I just wanted to say that myself and my fellow student trustees agree that this is a wonderful way to support students' understanding of course availability, and that we're so happy to see it being brought to students. And I also love the booklet that's here with us as well, because it breaks down everything so easily. And I'm honestly was learning about pathways that I didn't even know existed as a grade 12 student before this. So I'm very confident that this will be something that will greatly assist incoming grade 9 students and also students that are currently high school as well, with determining what their pathways are going to look like in the future. So thank you so much for this marvelous work.
Trustee Morton?
Thank you, and through you. I'm looking at the compulsory credits, and we can all agree that physical and mental well-being is extremely important to all of our students, to all of our staff. So I'm looking at only 1 credit in health and physical education. Is there any way we could talk to the province and encourage them to have more than 1 compulsory phys ed credit? Just my thinking.
That would be a choice for trustees if they wanted to reach out to the ministry to engage in that conversation.
Seeing no further questions, thank you. We'll move on to the student trustee report, and I'm turning it over to a student trustee, Trustee Vijay Kumar.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. Feedback from our February Student Senate Mentimeter poll revealed growing student concerns about limited course availability and equitable access to a broad range of learning opportunities. While overcapacity affects some schools, the main issue often lies in enrollment caps on specific courses rather than overall overcrowding. Courses may not run if there's low demand or insufficient staff, while popular courses can fill quickly, leaving students waitlisted or reassigned. Core or required courses that are essential for graduation are prioritized, though they may be offered in less preferred formats. Specialized programs like SHISMs, Specialist High Skills Major, face additional restrictions as schools need ministry approval, qualified staff, proper facilities, and adequate enrollment to offer them. While the DDSB is one of the most robust boards in Ontario in terms of SHISM and OYAP, Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Program offerings, some students are unable to access certain programs if they are not offered at their home school. These students must apply for out-of-boundary placement and are not guaranteed transportation, creating additional barriers. One solution is expanding access to online learning through DDSB's internal e-learning, the provincial consortium, and continuing education. However, many students are unaware of these options. Promoting resources such as the 30 Credits My Way framework can help students make informed choices when courses aren't available at their school. While it's not feasible to offer every course at all 18 secondary schools, increasing virtual course options and tracking unmet student demand can help create a more equitable and flexible system that supports diverse academic and career pathways. Moving forward, it would also be valuable to collect and report data on how many students are unable to enroll in their preferred courses annually to better inform planning and equity efforts. We hope that by taking a more flexible, student-informed approach to course delivery and ensuring all learners are aware of their options, the DDSB can continue to support diverse academic interests and future career pathways for its students.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. As part of our ongoing commitment to student voice and leadership across the DDSB, the Student Senate successfully hosted a new initiative that's aimed at our younger learners. Earlier this month, the Senate held a virtual conference specifically designed for grade 7 and 8 students across the district. This event marked an exciting milestone in engaging students earlier in their educational journeys and encouraging them to explore leadership opportunities. The conference took place April 10th and April 17th, and they were open to all DDSB elementary schools. Each grade 7 and 8 class was invited to attend one of the 2 available sessions. The event was entirely virtual, and all elementary school admin were provided with a link to join whichever conference date that worked best for each individual class. For our session, we had around 43 classes attend, and for our second session, we had 20 classes participate, which was honestly more than we had hoped for, and I thought that was really incredible for a first time running it, because if you think about it, that's a lot of students per class that was participating. So the goal of this initiative was to raise awareness of the Student Senate and the student trustees' positions among elementary students, and to also encourage leadership involvement as they prepared for the transition into high school as well. And it also aimed to introduce a variety of leadership pathways available through secondary schools, strengthen the connection between elementary and secondary students within the DDSB, and also gather feedback to help shape future student-led initiatives just like this one. So the session included a lot of key different features. Most of it was about Senate roles, such as student voice, equity, diversity and inclusion, as well as student success. And we had presentations from all of the different regional roles within Senate as well. So that includes Oshawa, Whitby, and then the Western and Northern regions. We also had an overview of the Senate senior executive team, which is like the president and the vice president. We also had our communications coordinator who makes all of our social media posts, and also our secretary as well. And they talked about how the Senate operates as a whole and their job as students. And also which was really cool, we had an open Q&A session at the end as well. So teachers were actually able to live input questions that their students had within the classrooms, so we could answer them directly. And we're incredibly proud of our Senate team for their leadership in organizing and also delivering such a meaningful and well-executed event. And it really truly showcased the power of students inspiring one another and laid the foundation for stronger student voices in the years to come as well. And a special thank you, we want to give a special thank you to our dedicated team of Senate presenters, as well as our staff advisors, Mr. Demaray and Mrs. Cameron as well. Superintendent Bliss, who was absolutely crucial in helping us organize this, Diane Curry and Ryan Adams for their continued support and guidance. And their efforts really helped make this event a huge success. And we are excited to see how this initiative will continue to motivate and empower our next generation of student leaders. And we hope to run this event annually to keep fostering leadership skills among our students.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. During our recent Student Senate General Assembly, we had the pleasure of hosting the DDSB Student Senate Potluck, an event that celebrated the rich diversity within our Student Senate. The potluck, held on April 3rd, was an exciting opportunity for our Senate members to share foods that represented their unique backgrounds, cultures, religions, and identities. This event was designed to not only foster team building and bonding, but also to provide a safe space for students to express themselves through food and cultural attire. The potluck was a huge success. Prior to the meeting, all participants were invited to bring dishes that represented their personal and cultural identities. In addition to sharing food, many members also wore cultural clothing, further enhancing the celebration of our diverse backgrounds. Tables were set up at the back of the room, and attendees were able to grab food before the meeting started. During the event, members had a chance to enjoy the diverse cuisines and connect with each other over meals, while also celebrating cultural diversity through clothing worn by many. A special thank you to our Senate members who brought in delicious dishes and showcased the diversity within our group. This event was not only about the food or just the clothing. It was a moment to celebrate who we are as individuals and as a Senate community. The success of the event highlighted the importance of creating spaces where everyone feels empowered to share their identities and connect with one another. You can find pictures and reels from the event on our Instagram at DDSB Student Senate to see the incredible moments and cultural expressions shared by our Senate members. We look forward to continuing initiatives like this to further strengthen the bonds between our Senate members and promote inclusivity across the DDSB. This event truly showcased the power of food and cultural expression as tools for unity and connection, and we're excited to see how it will continue to inspire future gatherings. Thank you, and we're open to taking questions now.
Thank you. Any questions from trustees? Seeing none, thank you. Moving on to item C, which is Ignite Durham Learning Foundation update, and I'll turn it over to trustee Arsenault.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I just want to take this time to remind everyone that the Ignite Open golf tournament is coming up. If you haven't taken a look at your flyers or taken a look at the site, it's a wonderful day to get outside and to raise money for our DDSB students, also giving awareness to Ignite and what they do there. I encourage everyone to come on out, form a team. We have about 6 DDSB students who participate in golf through their schools. They have been sponsored to play. We do have a few more students who are looking for sponsors to sorry about that. Come on out. Hopefully we can get a big turnout in support of the students. The other thing that I do want to make mention tonight is Soulmates. Everyone's seen this flyer that was displayed. Talks about students needing shoes. Teachers have been finding school communities struggling to provide a second pair of shoes for students. And it's quite important. It doesn't seem like it, but the weather in the field is still not good. Students are still using indoor and outdoor shoes. So they are looking for anyone who wants to either donate a pair of shoes or have any way of having any other pairs of shoes that they can donate to Ignite. Matching shoes for students is very important. Since September 2024, they have distributed 489 pairs of shoes or boots to students. So the need is important. If you want to take some time to look at this, if you have any or you're willing to donate online, you can let myself know or any of the members at Ignite Durham Learning Foundation. That's it.
Any questions from trustees? I see Trustee Morton.
I don't have a question, I have a comment, and I have a challenge. So thank you to Trustee Oldfield for registering our team of 4 golfers for that tournament on June the 10th. And at Royal Ashburn, and I thank Trustee Arsenault for joining us, Trustee Brown for joining us. So this is awesome. We have a name, and we are the trustees who believe in fair ways. So we're going to throw the challenge out to any senior staff or any fellow trustees to join us in support of the Ignite Durham Learning Foundation. Thank you, Michelle, or thank you, Trustee Arsenault.
I would just add, you don't have to be a good golfer. It's best ball, so there's no pressure. Seeing no further questions on that, I'll move to the OPSPA update and turn it over to Trustee Edwards.
Thank you. The OPSPA held its labor symposium on May 1st and 2nd with many of the workshops, basically with some of the trustee contact. Some of the workshops that were presented were things like the risk of AI from a human rights perspective. It looked at the implementation of policies to ensure that the human rights was taken into consideration. As far as also along that same note is implementing AI safely. Again, where the Ontario Human Rights Principles for Trustworthiness paper was, and the 7-point checklist is really appropriate to look at when we're looking at implementing and creating policies. I won't go into the rest of it, but that was just a sample of some of the things that I attended. On basically on the Friday and the Saturday, May 2nd and 3rd, we had the Ontario Public School Board Directors Meeting. We had a presentation from the Assistant Chief Medical Officer of Ontario, who basically talked about regarding contagious diseases. He made us aware that about the outbreak of measles and that there are 17 health units in Ontario reporting measles outbreaks, mostly in Western Ontario. And he reiterated the immunization for measles is highly effective, which has proven by the data prior to COVID. The annual number of cases reported were 22 cases of measles, where today Ontario has over 1,300 cases reported. Many of them are basically related to the first incidents. And 2024 of the cases of measles occurred in the immunization. 79.7% of cases that of measles have occurred in the immunized. We also talked as far as the OPSA board reports aligned with its multi-year strategic plan priorities. We discussed, of course, because of the AGM is coming up, our proposed next budget for next year, reviewed the board quick director introduction guide for new directors who will be joining at the AGM. And we, of course, reviewed all the reports from the various working groups such as Indigenous Advisory Council, Black Trustees Caucus, Policy Development, Education Programs of Working, and the Regional Council meetings. Again, OPSPA's annual general meeting is coming up in June, June 12th to the 14th. Our first vice president of the organization has decided to step down. So therefore, there was just a call that went out today as approved by the Board of Directors, the process for fulfilling the position, which will be by election at the AGM. This will be a one term as we're filling the role. And then, of course, just to again mention that the AGM, the keynote speaker is Carl Subban, a TDSB principal and author of Raise Your Roof and Leadership Strategies for Success and Change. The program's preliminary program is available online when you to review before you register. And of course, there's the up-and-coming joint policy and education program working group meeting this Friday, May 9th. And that's my report.
Thank you. Any questions from trustees? Seeing none. That brings us to the end of our agenda, and before we adjourn, I just want to remind trustees and anyone else who is interested in the special board meeting that we're going to be moving into for the naming of the unnamed Pickering Seton Public School, and that will happen after a very, very short break. We'll be moving into board. Can I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn? Trustee Jacula, Trustee Cunningham, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried, and we're adjourned. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome. I will now call the special board meeting of May 5th, 2025 to order. The Durham District School Board acknowledges that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships, both historic and modern, with the territories upon which our school board and schools are located. Today, this area is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge that the Durham region forms a part of the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, the Mississaugas people, and the treaty territory of the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation. It is on these ancestral and treaty lands that we teach, learn, and live. Are there any declarations of interest? Seeing none, there are no declarations of interest at this time. Can I please have a mover and seconder to approve the agenda as distributed? Thank you, Trustee Miller. Thank you, Trustee Cunningham. All in favour? Thank you. The agenda is approved as distributed. We have one recommended action on the agenda this evening, the naming of the unnamed Pickering Seton Public School reports, and I will turn it over to Superintendent Martine Robinson to introduce the report.
Good evening, and through you, Madam Chair. The report can be found on pages 1 to 19 of your package this evening. The purpose of this report is to request that the Durham District School Board trustees select a name for the new, unnamed Pickering Seton Public School. As chair of the naming committee, I was honored to work alongside the members as they carefully considered our naming policy, listened to community and student voice, and reflected on a vision for this new school community in developing a school name. On behalf of the naming committee, I'm proud to propose Josiah Henson Public School as the recommended name. Naming the school Josiah Henson Public School would honor a courageous leader whose legacy of resilience, justice, and education continues to inspire. This name reflects our board's commitment to anti-oppression, the ongoing work to confront anti-Black racism, and our responsibility to honor true history while strengthening connections to Black heritage in Ontario and beyond. We respectfully recommend that the name Josiah Henson Public School be approved for the new Pickering Seton School site.
Thank you, Superintendent Martine. I was going to call you Martine, sorry. Martine Robinson. Are there any trustees willing to move and second the recommendation included in this report? Trustee Linton? Trustee Cunningham? All those in favour? Any opposed? Thank you. That motion, apologies. Is there any discussion? I forgot to. Trustee Linton?
No discussion, just a comment. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Superintendent Robinson for taking us through an amazing process where we got to hear from many students and from members of the School Community Council. The conversation was robust, it was insightful, and a true reflection of where the vision that we have for the school board, and just definitely heading in the right direction. So kudos for you for facilitating such a process. I'm very happy to be part of this naming committee and engage in the conversation and dialogue. And yeah, happy to put my name to this. I think, as we discussed, the name speaks about the commitment to education. It talks to being brave and bold and courageous in confronting anti-Black racism and anti-oppression. And I think from the many residents that I've spoken to in the area, again, what we're trying to accomplish, I think this is a fitting name. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Linton. Is there any more discussion? Thank you. So, all those in favour? Anyone opposed? Thank you. That motion is carried. Seeing no further business, can I please have a mover and seconder to adjourn the meeting? Thank you, Trustee Pinello. Thank you, Trustee Jacula. All in favour? The meeting is now adjourned.